Changed Skeptics. There were men during the time of Christ's ministry who were watching all that was happening, and they were skeptical that this man Jesus was who he claimed to be. His teachings didn't convince them. His sinless life didn't convince them. His miracles didn't convince them. One of these skeptics was Christ's own brother, James. He and his other siblings were actually embarrassed by their brother and thought he was out of his mind. Yet the historian Josephus wrote that James became the leader of the church in Jerusalem. He was stoned to death for his belief in his brother. So what changed his mind? The Apostle Paul tells us. The resurrected Jesus appeared to him. No other explanation is given. James the skeptic became James the believer and became a faithful witness to Jesus until his death. Then there was Saul of Tarsus, who became the Apostle Paul. He was not only a skeptic, but an active persecutor of anyone following Jesus. He was right there in the crowd when they stoned Stephen for accusing the Jewish leaders of having stubborn hearts and minds that were deaf to the truth. He led house-to-house raids on the believers, determined to stamp out this new movement for good. Then, on a trip to Damascus, with the intent of arresting any followers of Jesus, Saul had an encounter that changed his life. Let's listen to his own account.
I am a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city. Under Gamaliel, I was thoroughly trained in the law of our fathers and was just as zealous for God as any of you are today. I persecuted the followers of this way to their death, arresting both men and women and throwing them into prison, as also the high priest and all the council can testify. I even obtained letters from them to their brothers in Damascus, and went there to bring these people as prisoners to Jerusalem to be punished. About noon, as I came near Damascus, suddenly a bright light from heaven flashed around me. I fell to the ground and heard a voice say to me, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" I asked. "I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting," he replied. My companions saw the light, but they did not understand the voice of him who was speaking to me. "What shall I do, Lord?" I asked. "Get up," the Lord said, "and go into Damascus. There you will be told all that you have been assigned to do." My companions led me by the hand into Damascus because the brilliance of the light had blinded me. A man named Ananias came to see me. He was a devout observer of the law and highly respected by all the Jews living there. He stood beside me and said, "Brother Saul, receive your sight." And at that very moment, I was able to see him. Then he said, "The God of our fathers has chosen you to know his will and to see the righteous one and to hear words from his mouth. You will be his witness to all men of what you have seen and heard. And now, what are you waiting for? Get up, be baptized, and wash your sins away, calling on his name.
Within a few days after the resurrected Jesus had appeared to him, this skeptic and persecutor of Jesus and his followers was himself baptized as a follower of Jesus and became God's mighty witness to the Gentiles, or the non-Jews, around the world. Skeptic Saul became believer Paul, and like James, he would lose his life for Jesus in Rome.